Right, 10:31, we have a quorum. We can call the meeting to order. And I know there's some new faces or a caller that's new to the meeting. This being the first meeting of the year, 2021, so welcome and Happy New Year. We and cover the newcomers with Connect Transit, and I'll have them to introduce themselves, or have Mark to introduce themselves when we get to the Connect Transit item. You know, we have an intern from the Regional Planning Commission with us. He's just on the call, so you won't be able to see his face. His name is Will Harris, just started this past Wednesday, and he goes to Illinois Wesleyan. So with that, we just taking attendance, and you got everybody.
I'm adding a couple of people who are not ordinarily here, but yes, we have a quorum and we have everybody we need.
Okay, so we're moving on. Public comments. Have we received any requests for comments?
As per usual, we have not.
The minutes for December 11th meeting, this is our last meeting, and it was included in the packet. And all the members, have you got a chance to review it? And if you have any comments, questions, before I'll entertain any motion? Okay, no comments, questions. James Kyles is right.
Oh, good.
And I'll take any motion for approval if you would like. Okay, Dan. All right, second. Any second? Okay, Jerry, second. Okay. Go for approval of the motion for approval. Or yes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no objection. Minutes approved.
Okay.
The next item number 5 on the agenda, relates to Connect Transit as part of the TIP amendment. Before I would defer to Connect Transit, Jan, any background, kind of unusual type of TIP amendment item. So if you want to give us a little background of why it's different from the others.
Sure. Ordinarily, we do amendments to specific projects, and in a way, Connect Transit's budget and operational plan and capital plan are kind of a project altogether. But ordinarily, it doesn't get amended in the course of the year. But because Connect Transit has received some substantial funding lately that's getting allocated in various ways, that is now reflected in the amendment this is now Amendment 12 that we sent out, and it's essentially just the charts from their entry with the changes kind of highlighted, so you can follow looking from the original version and see that, wow, there's more money there. And there's nothing terribly exotic about that. I think people can kind of figure it out, but both Pat and Brady are here to give us a hand with that. If either of you want to sort of jump in here and explain the situation, and I'll take some notes. So if we want to edit this into the amendment, we can, and go from there.
Let me, if I could jump in, Jen Peterson. I'm kind of a newcomer, but really just an old tired retread that doesn't go away. But I'm happy to be back on the technical committee. I just want to introduce the two members of the team from Connect Transit. Pat is the finance director, so any questions related to the financing of the project will be his. Brady Lang is our maintenance manager and also our procurement officer, and this project that we're talking about today is really one that he is managing on behalf of Connect. So maybe start with Brady just to give a quick overview of the project, and then we'll field any questions that you all have.
Sure. Thanks, Mark. And nice to meet everyone. first time I've been to a meeting, so this will be a learning experience for me. The solar project that we're currently progressing through is designed to basically, it's going to power our entire facility for a net zero energy consumption from the grid. We'll actually be able to sell some energy back, and will not require any usage of energy. So that's a great project. That the funding history on that is Connect was rewarded a low or no emissions grant that has been previously programmed for portion of this project, and then we'll utilize some IDOT debt service for the remainder. And the project has kind of gone through a few phases, and as different things have developed and we've learned more about this system, we've kind of redesigned the system, and we're finally at a point where the project is underway, and we're just trying to make sure that all the funding is properly allocated.
Brady, you might talk about because it kind of ties in the electric bus initiative and how that ties into this project.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're contracted to receive our first 4 electric buses probably in August or September of this year. So this project also includes charging infrastructure and the necessary equipment that's going to go into that portion. We'll be putting a small building on the end of our parking garage that will house the charging infrastructure. And in order to do so, we've had to install a new line of service from Corn Belt that will separate the electric vehicle charging off onto a different meter we've worked closely with Corn Belt, and we've gotten a special electric vehicle rate, energy rate for that line. So this project ties everything together, and the solar will, like I said, the solar will feed the facility.
Thank you. Any questions?
Not so far.
So anybody from the committee questions for the Connect Transit team? If none, I'll entertain motion. Bob, yeah, you motion for approval?
Mhm.
Are we not assuming?
Yeah. I would sort of set up a referral. Again, thank you, Jerry. So again, this is a motion to approve and forward to the policy committee.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye or wave your hands.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
And nay? None. So unanimously approved.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And good luck in our project. It's great. I think it's great for the community.
Okay.
And then there'll be more electric buses to come too, besides this fall.
Yeah, a number of them are on the way. I think we have planned 17, and we're always looking for funding for additional buses. So we're under contract for 12, and as Brady said, the first 4 will come later this year.
Yeah. And then with the transfer station, you need some charging stations over there too.
Absolutely.
Very good. We'll move on to item number 6. It's a subject that we've kind of discussed from the last few meetings of the technical committee, and so you all get a chance to review the materials last few months actually. So it's related to the IDOT's performance measure targets formulated in October 2020. It's something that the IDOT has request us to consider whether to adopt their standards or go with the whatever we have on our own. So I think last time at the committee we discussed with pretty much consensus that we go forward adopting IDOT. So, but I'll open for discussions, questions on item number 6. And then if Jan has anything to add, because I know you have given us the background.
Yeah, I'll just point out that what we'll do here, assuming that the consensus holds, I will prepare a resolution for the policy committee, which will summarize that consensus and indicate our intention to adopt, as we discussed, the state targets at the 4-year level. And with the proviso, as usual, that we'll contribute to the best of our ability to the achievement of those goals within the context of the size of our community and our existing statistics on, achieving, particularly the ones that are locally manageable, such as the safety, the sort of user safety versions, deaths and injuries.
So any questions, comments, discussions on this item? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for approval and refer to the policy committee.
I move approval.
Okay, Ryan. Very good. And second by Jerry. And all those in favor signify by saying aye or wave your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Nobody, so it was approved unanimously. Okay, Ray. Sorry?
Ray?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Tom Caldwell. It's fine, the technical committee approves the measures, but it is, just want to make sure that it's the policy committee approval or decision and approval that's significant. So just, and the minutes of the policy committee's approval is satisfactory, and the resolution is your choice, but I just want to make that clear that it's policy committee that's confirming.
Sure. Yeah, we'll definitely put this on next Friday's policy committee meeting agenda. We you have a preference for a resolution or just the minutes? The minutes will not be final.
Completely your choice. Completely your choice. We went through this with
Okay.
and another FPO yesterday. It's the minutes are documentation of the board or policies decision. So that's your choice.
The last time around, we did a resolution in 2018.
Yeah, I understand.
Probably,
And I understand. And that was what brought it up at Danville yesterday. And of course, this is just FHWA. The resolution might be something that Holly would prefer, but it's not a requirement. That's all I want to say.
I think it makes it clearer and it's immediate. We have people, basically sign off on it or wave off on it or whatever right at the minute.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll go for resolution. We'll go for resolution. Like Jan was saying, so we don't have to, if we go for minutes, and even if it's approved next week, we won't get for the approval of the minutes until February meeting, and I just want to get it done and then forward it back to IDOT. So I think we'll go for the resolution option. But thanks, Tom, for raising that to our attention. Okay, next item, that which may arise, any issues, questions, comments, or anything anybody wants to talk about? Okay, Ryan and Mark later, but Ryan, please first.
Sure. Thank you, Ray. Wanted to bring up for discussion the email that Mr. McGee sent out to a number of us last, I guess it was yesterday, regarding about approximately $1 million availability in FY22 in the MPO SDU program. Wanted to talk about, and I've talked to a number of you this morning about the possibility of putting some of that money towards the town's West College project. The West College is actually scheduled to bid in 23, but the overall cost of the project would not increase or affect the district's bidding capacity at all. As far as increasing the cost of the project. But the $1 million would help close the gap. Right now, we are waiting to hear from the DCO on a $5 million grant, but I think that funding is questionable as far as whether or not that's actually going to come through. It was a big ask, $5 million in a grant program that was funded at the $25 million level statewide. So chances of us getting the full funding are not all that great, although you got to remain optimistic, right? So, but just wanted to throw that out there to see what some of our partners thought of that, and just open it up for discussion about other projects in the community as well.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, may I ask how much is the project cost, estimated project cost for the West Cottage project?
Sure. I believe our current cost estimate is around 9.3 million, Ray.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, great. Yeah, anybody have comments in want to discuss? Yes, Dan, please.
Pretty much what I wanted to add with that, it's not extra $1 million that I have available. It's that I have a hole in my marks. I have $11 million roughly that I've obligated, and I'm looking for another $1 million project to throw in for FY22. So Ryan and I talked this morning, and the $1 million would be the money that the MPO has. If he wants to increase his federal funding to, I think it's at 2 million now, and he wants to increase it to 3, I think that's really what he's asking. But I don't think I can move that project into 22. You'd have to leave it out in 23. So my request to have $1 million hole filled in 22 couldn't be done with Ryan's project.
Okay.
So I think it's just asking to see if he can get some more money for his project and with STU funds.
Right. And which is now a separate topic from your immediate issue of finding a way to fill out the program for 22. I would ask both Kevin and Jerry to weigh in on anything either that you've discussed with Dan or that you think you might have out there that could be used to solve Dan's problem, basically.
Really, my main goal with that email yesterday was I'm looking for projects to fill in 26 and 25 and 24. 23 is kind of full already, but doesn't mean that a project won't slip out into the future and I'll have some availability next year. But if you have projects that you want to get in the schedule, I definitely would like to entertain that so that we can, get all the environmental stuff done and get the programming part done and go from there.
As of, July 1 of this year, it will definitely be in fiscal 22, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, either Jerry or Kevin.
Well, this is Kevin, and I guess I'd defer to Craig as our city engineer to talk about maybe some of our stuff. Dan's aware that we're at 95% plans on our Hamilton Road project, but I think Craig could probably provide some updates. Our current estimate's higher than what we had originally had in our tip, and we just had a meeting with the railroad this week too. So Craig, you want to give a quick update to the group?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So our consultants doing the 95% plans right now. We've been coordinating with the railroad on the relocation of the 2 siding tracks, and we're moving forward with that, but there's been some delays, with getting those tracks relocated. We're anticipating that those would be relocated this calendar year, or at least the beginning, they would start this calendar year. And then as Kevin indicated, the finances are tracking higher, and we're trying to get a handle on that with our consultant. We do expect to come back and for consideration of additional STU funds on that. It'll likely, and I'll talk with Dan further about this, but it'll likely be moved out another year, if not 2 years, depending upon how the money tracks out.
Any comments, Jerry, or anybody else?
So, going back to Ryan's original point, yeah, I don't see any problem with adding additional SC dollars to that project. To fix Dan's issue in 22, we had that White Oak Road project. I don't know if we could increase the SC allotted amount on that one, but I believe that is for a June of 22 letting. So I don't know if it's fallen into the 23 or not.
If that's where it's at, June of 22, it could be a late let of 22. And that way it would still have FY 22 funding. I need to look at my database.
But I wouldn't be able to fill. I wouldn't be able to need the. I would not need the total, or we couldn't use the whole $1 million for that project.
Okay. Kevin, do you want to have?
Yeah, I guess if we're looking to use money for 22, Craig, I'm just throwing it out there. Is Fox Creek a possibility?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we as you know, we've been using MFT funds. We've gone through the MFT review process, but we haven't done anything with STU hoops. And then we're 95% on that project with the intention that, and we're in the land acquisition phase right now. And we would have to, I guess I just wonder about the hoops that we'd have to jump through, because we didn't do a phase 1 study. And our intention is to go to bid here as soon as we get the Land Act done. And then we've got to do a preliminary site investigation. We've already done a PISA. So that would be my only concern. I mean, I think, Dan, would you confirm that? I mean, we'd have to go through the phase 1, right, on that?
Yes.
Yeah, so Kevin, we'd have to back up, and that would be I mean, if they wanted to give us money and we added it to it, we'd have to go through any hoops, but that'd be great.
Yeah, just brainstorming. I'm not saying that's the thing to do or not. I was just throwing out ideas.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Kevin. Yeah, the challenge, as you know, and Dan knows this, is in Ryan and Jerry, is just that going through all the federal hoops in a short amount of time frame for an FY 22 project.
Ryan, you had your hands up. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, the Hamilton Road project kind of fallen back a little bit, and that opens up a little bit of funding. Am I right? Just every year we get 1.6 million into the kitty, and I know, Dan, you've got to juggle also your bidding capacity and things like that, but maybe we can fit West College and Jerry's project in. The additional funding for West College and the additional funding for White Oak, and then we're not also adding additional federal projects too.
Can I make a suggestion, which is that it's looking less than likely that we can solve Dan's problem here today for the immediately coming fiscal year. And I think that the notion of the out years that Dan also inquired about is something that we can work out, very quickly soon in developing the TIP update. So that, Dan, I get the impression you don't need that information by the end of next week, correct? That we can still be working on that, even if we can't, assist in the FY 22 plugging that hole.
Yeah, I needed that by the end of next week. And I think I've got somebody to fill about half of that already for 22. So, yeah, but doesn't mean that we can't use the other 500,000 somewhere else. So, next week is my deadline to have something in there, and then I got to turn it in. So, but I work with that all year round. I try to add projects so that we can just keep that going, and it makes it less hectic for me at this time of the year.
Okay, Brian, go ahead, Brian.
So Jerry and Dan, is that something that the White Oak project could fit in there then for 22? I guess more of a question for Dan than Jerry, but knowing what's your funding gap, Jerry?
Yes, Jerry, to your answer is 22.
We're just so we're looking at $1.5 million of the STU dollars, and then the county was going to match the remaining part of the project of $1 million, so it would just lessen the county's portion of that.
That's fine.
So Dan and I can work together, and we can and include Ryan in there, and if a portion of that money can go to College Avenue, that's fine. Or we can leave everything how it is and see where things fall.
All right, so I'll let you continue the conversation or questions, whatever, after the meeting, and because it's only 1 week, so whatever you have to do to get it done. Yeah. Okay, is that all right? I know, Mark, you had your hands up. Your next.
Yes, if you don't mind, this is very, very brief, but just want to give you a quick update on the downtown Bloomington Transfer Center project, which has been sort of hanging out there for quite a while. The Farnsworth Group is nearing completion of the site analysis. They've been working on that for several months, and we plan hopefully within the next couple of weeks to publicly release the 3 top candidate sites as identified as part of that analysis, and we'll be soliciting input from the community, certainly the stakeholders in the city of Bloomington on those 3 sites, and we'll begin some preliminary investigation on acquisition. We'll ultimately have to conduct appraisals and comply with NEPA and other typical activities, but our goal is to move expeditiously with receiving community comment, and then make a final determination on the preferred site and move as quickly as possible towards acquisition. And once, of course, we have a site, then we can pin our ears back and move forward much more quickly than we have at this stage. So we're excited about this. I know we had a meeting, we presented some information to the Bloomington City Council on Monday, and we shared some of this information with them, and we'll be doing the same with the normal town council next Tuesday evening. But I just wanted to bring you up to date on where we are with that project.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions for Mark from the group? Okay, I didn't see any. Okay, thanks, Mark, for the update.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Anybody else have any other items want to bring it up for the group discussion? Or questions, anything? All right. Seeing none, our next scheduled meeting on February the 19th. And so just check a schedule. I think that's the week with the President's Day is on Monday, and it's that week, that Friday that we have the meeting. Okay, with no other issues or questions or any items, I'll entertain motion for adjournment of the meeting. I think Jerry. Any second? Dan? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye or wave your hands, please.
Aye.
Okay. Very good. No opposition, I take it. Very good. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good